Incompetence Pod.
Welcome to the Perpetual Incompetence Podcast, a journey in competitive self-improvement.
Bear witness as the three of us endeavor to improve our lives by competing in a series of low-stakes challenges.
In each episode, we will come up with a challenge and then define the rules or metrics for victory.
We'll have 2 weeks to do our best, and at the end, one of us will be crowned victor. Hi, I'm true believer, poetic soul, and master of failure, Mike Collins.
Hi, I'm Master Yogi, Master of Wind, the Songsmith, the Busiest Beaver, Yumpin' Yodeler, Dan Collins, the Tanky Planker.
And I'm the Human Popsicle, Mr. Sunshine, Future Corpse, and Synergistic Mystic, Travis, Grunicus Brabin, the Silver Tongue. We each have one idea for a challenge for us to attempt in the next 2 weeks. After we've all presented, we'll decide whose idea is the best. Who wants to go first?
I'll hop in here. This, I think, is a kind of a nice segue from our last, the Human Popsicle Challenge, where I think the Human Popsicle thing was very good, like, mentally for us. At least It was for me. And I think we can continue that train a-rolling and pull up one of the old ones that we've submitted. I think both you and I have submitted before, but meditation. And do daily meditation, whatever flavor you want. And I know the problem that we had with this before is we couldn't figure out a good metric for it. I was thinking we've used the rubric method a couple times now, and I think that works pretty good. And we could probably figure out several things that, we could base this on, like who spent the most time doing it, who like really lived the meditation lifestyle, who got the most out of it, who set up a sustainable like schedule to meditate on, any of those kind of things. So I think it would be very good for us. I've done a little bit of it, and I can see the benefits, and I would just kind of like to try doing it for 2 weeks. So that's my submission.
Okay. We got to do it eventually, and maybe there is no good way to do, like, there's no good single metric for it, so maybe that's the best we can do, is doing some kind of rubric, like you said.
It's kind of like, there's no, like, it's such a, like, self-improvement, and it, like, very, like, internal. You're not really doing anything for anybody except for your own head.
Right.
So,
there's a reason that meditation isn't in the Olympics.
Yeah. Yes, precisely.
Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, it is good. Let's go into mine.
It's okay, I guess.
I had one that was sort of along the same lines, so I'm doing an audible. I'm going to change it up. We live in a busy world, and that there's all sorts of we're constantly bombarded with information, and there's so much to be taken in. There's so many facts to learn, so many interesting stories to hear. So in order to better consume more information, I think that we should learn to speed read.
Oh.
And I think at the end, I'm sure that these exist. There's somewhere to like take a speed reading challenge to see how many words per minute you can read and understand. Yeah, comprehension. That's the word I'm looking for. So I think we would find some sort of web test on that. We would all take it, and then it's pretty straightforward. Whoever gets the highest score wins.
I've actually tried this before when I was in college. Just because engineering textbooks are kind of rough to get through. Turns out you kind of need to pay attention really closely when you're reading those. So
yeah. So that's it. That's me. That's all I got.
That's an interesting one. Okay.
Easy to measure.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Dan.
Well, so this weekend I went to the state fair, Minnesota State Fair. Biggest state fair in the country. And you kind of get a little bit,
not a big deal.
You get proud of your state. So yeah, I just thought that maybe we could maybe just get a little bit more Minnesotan, and maybe we could just sort of get in touch with our Minnesotan heritage and explore what it means to be a real Minnesotan, don't you know? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like maybe go to
It's
some
still not any better with the accent.
museums.
Yeah.
Go to some museums and I don't know, make some hot dish and do
Yeah, then.
whatever and that's other like what does it mean to be a Minnesotan? And that's I was looking at a map of the world, and the UK is about the same size as Minnesota. So why don't we have as much? We have plenty of culture, and I'd like to explore Minnesotan culture.
I would. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And it's important. It's a good self-improvement thing. You get in touch with your own home.
All right. Here's what I will say to that challenge, Dan, is that I've lived outside of Minnesota. We all grew up here, and I've less than enamored with it in my
I lived
this
outside of
time of my
Minnesota
life.
for 2 years.
Yeah,
But
but
hey,
like no,
there's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're from.
well, that's what I was just saying. Like maybe it would be a good opportunity to kind of rekindle that fire. The I don't even know. Lutefisk,
Yeah.
Vikings,
Cold
whatever.
weather,
Cold,
Yeah.
cold.
snowmobiling, fishing, 10,000
Yeah.
lakes,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Vikings.
For sure.
All right, all right.
If we do go with that challenge, we have to promise anyone listening that we will not do that accent anymore.
What are you talking
never
about?
again.
What are you talking about? That's just how I
Hoot.
talk.
All right. We've got our options. If I had to vote, I would probably vote for the meditation one, just so that we can stop suggesting it. We've put it off long enough.
I kind of agree. Although yeah, I mean, I like mine. Yeah, let's go with mine. That's a good idea.
I mean, I like mine, but
I mean, I don't love yours, but I think there's value there.
No,
I honestly kind of want to do the meditation one just so we stop bringing it up.
And here, Dan, how about this? When better to learn to appreciate Minnesota than when it will be most challenging than when it's 30 below outside?
Okay,
that's a valid point.
That is a fair point. Yeah.
Wait until February or January.
Wait until we're just angry, and every single winter I say, "Why do I live here?"
Yes. That's when we'll need to find reasons to stay here.
Okay, I'm into that. Yeah,
we'll have to bring our Minnesota love out of the ice like a mummified mastodon. Yeah.
We'll have to melt our frigid hearts. All right, let's do the meditation. What do we think for honorific?
Well, let's figure out the metric.
Yeah, let's
first,
get the metric. Are we? Because I feel like just time doing meditation. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the right metric.
No.
Like I say, let's pick like maybe 3 or 4 topics that are like the best, or things that are self-improvement and they're applicable. So I would say not necessarily time spent, but like the amount of effort put into, meditating correctly. So maybe like this would be like meditation immersion. Like, and we could rate who did it the best, 1 out of 3, or 1 through 3. What do you guys think of that?
Sure.
And then we'll pick another one. So let's say
so it's like sustainability, immersion. I mean, we have like broadly a couple of things we've done before, right?
Yeah.
The yodeling one we did this way.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a good example. I think we could probably do some similar things. So like, I think we did immersion, and then we could do meditation sustainability.
Maybe like the method of meditation, because there's many different ways to do it.
But is one better than another, though?
Yeah. I would think that the practices that you do is probably part of the immersion. If you try a couple different ones, that might speak to your level of immersion.
That's true.
We could have the like most interesting experience, or like thoughts, or enlightened.
Most enlightened one.
epiphanies or transcendental epiphanies. That's a good word.
I don't. I mean,
Transcendental meditation is a type of meditation.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are going to have. I mean, I guess if we have life affirming epiphanies while we're meditating, I
I'm
don't
just gonna
foresee that
say
happening.
number one epiphany.
How about just like I don't know. It's hard to measure meditation. That's why we've
Yep.
had so much trouble with this one.
Yeah, that's why we're picking all of these. We're gonna do all of them, and we'll do 1 through 3.
Okay, are you writing these down?
I am
I
writing
am.
them down.
Yep.
I guess we're
Sustainability,
recording them, too.
immersion. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sustainability, immersion, and experience. Do we want to do another one, or is 3 good enough?
That's probably good. Let's not overthink it.
Maybe
right?
while we meditate, we'll think of another one.
That's true.
Probably.
We could let's say we retain
Wild
the
card.
right. Yeah, wild card. We're wild card.
Wild card. You know, I feel like when we go deer hunting, you know, sitting in the stand for like 12 hours a day, I feel like that's a very solid form of meditation.
It is. I agree. It's very meditative.
I have a
Sit
lot of
there and
practice.
Ponder life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So deer hunting
Ponder-
wouldn't start for a couple.
Question your choices in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would even argue that for many people, they don't call it meditation, but that, you know, functionally achieves the same purpose. As that, like, for many people, like spending time on the woods is meditative, but also like rejuvenating on a mental level for them. So
There's a term for that. It's like nature bathing or something like that.
Nature bathing.
Yeah, I've heard that term, or maybe not bathing, but it's like nature.
Let's stick with bathing. I kind of like that.
I don't know.
I don't like
bathing.
that. But anyway, yeah, it achieves the same purpose.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
What's
we've
the
got-
honorific?
Yeah.
Here's one enlightened one.
Yeah, that's literally
that was
what I was about. I was about to say that.
Okay. I believe this one came up before, and I think we can do better.
Buddha.
Just the Buddha.
Yeah. Monk.
Is there some sort of alliteration we can do with monk, like master monk, except we can't use the word master?
We can do whatever we want. There's no actual rules. We make all the rules up ourselves.
That's true.
Transcendent something.
Transcendental dingus.
Meditative something, or something of meditation.
Meditated monk.
I mean, enlightened one is really good.
It is. I mean, it kind of, yeah. Transcended one. Well, I kind of like that.
That's pretty good.
Transcended. What's another word for transcended?
Risen.
Transcend.
Elevated.
Transcended.
I'm not wild about one. Can we do like transcended something?
Transcended. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Toucan.
Transcended turnip.
Or do like a dumb word fusion, like the transplendent. Nope, I don't like that.
Deep thought dork.
Deep
thinker.
Pondering.
Deep thinker is not bad.
Pondering.
The deepest thinker. The deepest thinker.
Deep thinkist. I don't think that's better.
Introspective detective.
That's pretty good.
I don't know.
That's actually quite good.
Introspective detective.
Because you're trying to look for clues for enlightenment.
We don't need to think too hard about it. I think that's the one.
It's introspective detective.
Let's just go with our gut on that one.
I don't know. We're kind of verging into
there's layers. No, there's layers to that one, Mike. Yeah,
I'm with it. You know, green light.
It's just like 100%. Let's fund this one. Introspective detective. Yeah, why not?
I'm into
Yeah.
it. I like it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, why are
I'm
we still
into
talking
it.
about this?
All right.
Okay.
Nice dying.
Introspective Detective. Okay, so do we have any? I don't know. It's so hard to have like a forecast for this one. Like, I don't know. Dan's kind of he's a deep thinker. He's got a philosophy degree,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Non-committal, yeah.
Uh,
I think we're
I feel
level
like
playing
all
field.
of my confidence has been burst since that last challenge. You guys just destroyed me. So I don't have any. I don't think I'm. I don't know. We'll just see how it
Introspective
goes.
Detective.
I suspect that meditation is a practice best approached from a position of humility. So you might be
Ooh.
ahead of the game that way, Dan.
I suppose it
Right.
depends on the flavor that you're going for, though, because some people are like, I have become one with the universe, which I would say is not necessarily immensely humble.
Is there active meditation? Probably. We'll find out.
Probably.
Yeah, I think many people consider like running to be a form of meditation.
So well, okay, before we go into this too much, so I've looked into this. So there's several types of meditation, and I would recommend looking into the mindfulness, which is kind of the focus is on making it so you can allow thoughts to come in your mind without controlling you. That's kind of the idea.
Sure.
So it's kind of like, it's an anti-anxiety, anti kind of freak out, or, how sometimes you get like so busy that you can't think and you kind of, yeah. So anyway, I recommend that one. I tried that a little bit before and I was like, this is cool. And I haven't spent a lot of time on it since that because I've been freezing myself and various other weird things. So anyway, that was just a thought that popped up.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like we've sort of touched on meditation with a few of these different challenges, but now
Yeah.
we're just going to go straight on, head first
Yep.
into it.
We're going to combine the breathing exercises with I'm going to meditate while in an ice bath. And we're going to combine a bunch of
planking.
stuff.
And
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Planking ice bath meditation.
While
We just
yodeling.
invented
Well,
something.
yodeling.
Whoa. Well, you know how like they have like the transcendental guys. So the transcendental guys, I think the idea is to clear the mind, so like to empty it so that you can just kind of experience the moment, right? That's transcendental versus the mindfulness. And a lot of things they do for that is like they have a mantra that they just repeat over and over until it has no meaning. So you could yodel like that, like, just kind of yodel to reach transcendental meditation. So that might be worth.
If I could
worth the time.
yodel, then yeah, maybe so. But as we all know, I cannot.
To be fair, we didn't really get a good feel for your yodeling, Travis.
You got all that there is to get a feel for. It's not great.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll say
Okay.
Random note. I talked to my grandma this last couple days this weekend, and she mentioned that she was really impressed with your guys' yodeling skills. So good on you.
Thanks, Travis's grandma.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have our challenge, we have our metric, and we have our honorific is the word that I was trying to find.
Nailed it.
Man, you're really holding us on the edge there.
You're right. Let's
really
do
building
this.
the anticipation. Oh, crap.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. It's me, Dan. I just wanted to take this little break to say thanks for listening. You're all just super great. We'd appreciate it if you tell a friend about the show and spread the joy, spread the awareness of the joys of meditation and all of its wonderful gifts that it brings to us. So, thanks for listening, and why don't we just get back to that show?
Welcome back to the Perpetual Incompetence Podcast. As a reminder, we recorded the first part of the podcast 2 weeks ago, and since then, we've been meditating to the max. Let's discuss our initial thoughts, and then we'll figure out who is the best meditator. Who wants to go first?
I want Dan to go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just discuss my initial thoughts here.
Okay.
All right.
I think meditation is a good thing to do when you get home from work. And before you do anything, you just sit and you sort of meditate, close your eyes, relax and unwind a little bit. I think that's a really beneficial thing to do.
That's a bold take.
Beyond that, I didn't find much value in it.
Oh, that is a bold take.
I sort of agree with you. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. So I watched like a bunch of YouTube things, right? The standard procedure that we've been doing. And one of the first ones I watched was like, learn how to meditate, like meditation for beginners. What is meditation? How to do it. And it was this old wise yogi, or not yogi. What do they call him? I don't know. Like a master meditator man.
I don't actually know. Is there a name for that?
I think it depends on like what flavor you're going for.
I don't know. He was from India, if that means something.
That might be a yogi. I don't know.
I don't know. But he was kind of explaining what it is and how it's the most valuable thing to do. Because in our modern age, our minds are jumping from this thing to this thing. As I was listening to him, he kept kind of pausing and going like, because people just don't know. And I'm just like, this guy is like, like, I don't think, and like he was talking about smartphones and how they're like, like we don't need these things that give us all this information. And I'm like, you don't even know how to work a smartphone, old man. Like, I don't think. I tried to look up all these different things. Like, I mean, that's a very negative thing to say. I mean, I'm sure he's a very nice man.
As we know, you get very aggressive when you don't have your smartphone.
You did not put a name to this guy, so we can just say he was a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, he seemed like a nice guy,
old man.
But I think that the idea that you develop wisdom from sitting and daydreaming for 20 minutes or an hour a day. I don't think it's that valuable. I don't know. I mean, I think a nap would probably be more beneficial because then you at least get a little bit of maybe REM sleep. And like when I stopped meditating, when I kind of finished, it's just. I'm back into reality, I'm back into the world that I am a part of and required to use my brain again. And my mind has to jump from thing to thing and I need to actually do stuff. But I know there's a lot of these people that meditate for like an hour every day. It just seemed like a big waste of time to me. I don't know. Yeah. I had trouble with it. To be fair, I did it for 2 weeks. So maybe I need to do it for 20 years to really understand what the true value is. But but okay. So a lot of it was, and there's different types of meditation, but there's one focused meditation, or is that what it is? It's when you kind of it's when you meditate when you're doing something, and a lot of it was like if you're doing like a repetitive task, one that doesn't require you to think, you can sort of focus on like your senses and like where you are. And I thought, well, I play the drums, and that's a pretty repetitive task, so I meditated on the drums multiple times. I would just sit there. It was actually, that was kind of nice. I mean, to be fair, I feel like after looking up what meditation is, I think I always meditate when I'm on the drums. Right. But I kind of focused on like kind of clearing my mind and just focusing on like what I'm feeling and hearing and that sort of thing. It's kind of nice. I just close my eyes and I played the drums for like a half hour and just like a simple beat and just let my hands sort of do whatever they were gonna do. And it was nice, but then it's like I'm done and then it's over and then that happened and now I don't know. I didn't I don't know. I have a lot more to say, but I'll let you guys give your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I agree largely with you, so I want to jump in here next. I had kind of the same experience, I guess, is that like it's not an unpleasant thing to do. You just, I mean, you sit there and relax, and that's cool, and you kind of get nice and cozy and try to like not think about things or, I tried to do the different types of meditation, like I think there's like mindfulness, meditation. I think what you were talking about, Dan, it's called like movement meditation,
That might be
where
I
you're
should have
doing a
these.
thing, and then there's like mantra meditation, like all these different things. I sort of tried, I sampled a couple of them, and I'll say that like the visualization stuff didn't really work for me very much. Um, Maybe because like the person would say something like, picture yourself being successful today. And then they like move on where like, I'm still on the successful part. Like that's a pretty broad topic. And I need like, that would like generally just like make me think about like what I needed to do that day, which would distract me from, the other, like, it's just like the visualization stuff for me was like, if the goal is to like calm your mind, the visualization stuff like made it more active and more, I mean, in a way it almost created stress
Sure.
rather than alleviating it. So that wasn't really for me. Um, I also like pretty early on found out that meditating and getting like nice and relaxed before taking a cold shower is pretty counterproductive. Because I definitely did that on day one, and just like get like nice and laid back, and then get like a real adrenaline spike. So I don't recommend that. I also found that like doing it at night before you go to bed, like I think like some people recommend this, but like I just found it as like all right, I'm dozing off now, and like I don't think that you're really getting the benefits of it because you're really just like priming yourself to fall asleep. Which for some people maybe that's great, but for me it was just like I could just be doing this in bed and just go to sleep. Like which, like you said, Dan, is probably better to just go to sleep, right?
But yeah,
I don't
I
know.
kept thinking that like a nap would be better than this,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
overall though, I found this challenge to be a really interesting counterpoint to the cold exposure one, because like this meditation was the first challenge that I suggested in episode 1 of this podcast. So it was something that I wanted to try out, and it's not that hard to do. It's not like painful or it's not like uncomfortable or anything, but I just didn't really see any benefits of it. Like I didn't notice any like, dopamine response, or I didn't feel more relaxed. I didn't feel like a better brain recollection or whatever. And then if you contrast that with the cold exposure, which is something I really didn't want to do, and it isn't uncomfortable, and it's like it's just not a fun time, but I did notice benefits. So like between the two, I'm definitely going to keep doing cold exposure, but the meditation, which is something that I thought I would get benefit from, it just didn't do anything for me. So I was surprised to note that, and that like I kind of like what you said, Dan. It was relaxing and it was okay. It's not hard to do. It just I didn't really notice any benefits.
I would say it's probably one of the easiest things to do, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
not difficult. Yeah, I'll jump in here. I kind of disagree with you guys a little bit on this one. So but to be fair, several like a bunch of challenges back, the whatever the Future Corpse was, which I think was the third one, it was like 10 episodes ago.
Hmm.
Uh, I listened to an entire great course on Audible about mindfulness meditation. So like the guy was kind of talking about the not so much just the how, but also the why to do it. And I think having that kind of information in mind before jumping into it kind of made me sort of understand the benefits, if not see them as much right away. Because I think it's definitely a retraining your brain thing, at least the mindfulness meditation. Well, I think all meditation kind of is, but the the purpose of the mindfulness stuff is it kind of goes back to that stoicism thing where you want to be focused on what's happening right now and not focused on like what's going to come or what you need to do and all these other things, because it's kind of like living in the moment. So the idea is, as you're doing the mindfulness meditation, which a lot of it focuses on like your breathing, like kind of experiencing every sensation that comes, and then like if you have thoughts and stuff that pop up, you say, "Hello, thought. Nice, good to see you," and then you send them on their way.
Now
And that's
go away.
yeah,
You're
basically.
not wanted here.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of it. And then so like the idea is that you'll retrain your brain so as you have like strong emotions. So I think for, maybe it's just like I'm more neurotic than you guys, so maybe I can see the you can see the benefits of it more. That's possible. But but like the, I having working on that, I think could be very beneficial, especially for high strung people. So,
I think that on the point of it being like trying to become one with the moment, I think for me, maybe that's the reason, because I think I always try to, I'm only in the moment all the time. Like
yeah,
I don't like look at my phone. I don't like texts because I don't like, I'm just like, well, I'm doing this right now, and I don't know. If I look at my phone, my mind might have to go somewhere else,
yeah.
or like if I have like the opposite of like attention deficit disorder. Like I'm always just sort of focused on exactly what I'm doing right now. So maybe meditation is just my natural state. Maybe I'm always meditating.
Maybe you should start
I
your own
can.
YouTube channel and completely
Maybe
make
I
a guide.
should.
It would just be like you, like the title of the video would be like "How to be relaxed all the time," and then it would be you just like, I don't know, man, do whatever I do. There's like like
Just
no
like,
practical
It's like,
advice, just like
just
I
chill
don't know,
out,
just
dude.
yeah, it's like, I don't know. I guess
be cool.
it's just Dan going through his day. Like, well, I guess I'm gonna cook this frozen pizza now. Uh,
I can vouch that you are not the fastest responder to text messages. And sometimes feel like it'd be better off just like sending you a letter than getting like you to respond to a text.
No, I don't like reading my mail either.
if it was a personal letter, though, you probably would. To be fair.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
I think you're right though, Mike, is that there are probably many people who this is like, dire. It's very important that they get this meditation done frequently. There are people that this hits a spot for, I'm sure. I don't I won't say that I have the same level of zen that Dan seems to maintain, but it just maybe there are other things that I do that are meditative. I made a note that like for me, I think things like fishing or woodworking or even just exercising, all these things are like the movement meditation, I guess. So that's what is relaxing to me.
I think that's
So
that's like very legitimate, because I think of like if I'm like trying to find a moment to relax, what I do to like put myself in that flow meditative state is I improvise solo guitar. I just get like a backing track going on YouTube and just close my eyes and go bonkers with it. And
yeah,
then and like the world shuts down and all it. And I think that's very much so that state that you're kind of shooting for when you're meditating
yeah,
like that. And I think for people that have access to things that get them in that state, because that's like I forget where I was listening to this, but like that flow state is like when you're there, that's like the very comfortable place for people to be, and that's where they just want to stay. And a lot of
hmm
things that people do is them kind of searching for a way to find that flow state, whatever it is. Some people get it from playing video games, some people get it from playing sports, or whatever it is.
yeah.
Woodworking, whatever it is.
Everybody should learn how to play musical instruments, and then nobody would need to meditate anymore.
That's another bold stance, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dropping bombs here.
So,
Well, I think that's
yeah,
true though, for sure.
yeah. Should we get into kind of what we did and then go from there? I'll,
Yeah, you go ahead.
all right. So basically, so yeah, I learned about this a while ago, and I've kind of been not very effectively practicing it. When the mood strikes me, or if I have a moment and it pops in my head, like, oh, here's something you could do. But like not very often. So I had some kind of prior knowledge coming into this. So I knew that I wanted to go with the mindfulness meditation. So I went with on YouTube. There's a channel called Calm, and they have a series on there called Daily Calm with Tamara Levitt. I don't know if you guys ran into her, but
No.
it's a very big YouTube channel. So, but anyway, so I just she has these like 10-minute meditations for your day. And so yeah, I did that. That's basically the only thing I did because it was guided. She kind of she tells you what to think, what to do. So uh so yeah, it was good for the most part. I was doing it in the evenings. I did it in the morning a couple times. That was a little harder to do just because of my schedule, but in the evenings I do it before going to bed. And I will say I noticed going to bed, because I suffer from like chronic insomnia. I sleep very little, generally speaking. So it was very nice to especially when I did it like early enough to make use of it, put myself in a very calm state, before going to bed. Because then after that, I wasn't like, I should go do this, this, and this. It was just kind of like, I'm kind of chill. I think I'll just go to bed and read a book or something. So that was benefit for me, and I think that's something I may do more often. As I was doing this, I tried to do it just about every day. There's a couple days I missed. And a few things of note. I one time while I was doing it, my wife came into my office while I was like mid meditation. She was like messing with the printer and like pushing buttons, like boop, very, very much so harshed my calm. So, so I kind of had to start over.
So yeah, I'm just gonna interrupt you because I have a thing that happened to me one time. I was meditating. I got home from work and I just sat down. I was gonna just like go on YouTube or something for a second. I was like, nope, we got to meditate today. So I closed my eyes, and after about 5 minutes, there were gunshots, probably about like
Oh no!
two blocks away from my house. It's just like, well, all right. So I got a police scanner app, and I was listening to them, and they were talking about all this stuff that was, and then I followed the police, or they were chasing this guy around my neighborhood. So
Oh man!
that harshed my calm a little bit.
Yeah. So
That's no
on,
excuse, Dan. You need to power through that.
yeah, you gotta push through. You gotta remain calm in that.
Well, I went and I made sure my doors were locked. This is the first thing I did.
Well, that's good.
Bullets can only harm your physical self.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway, with that in mind, I would recommend if you live with someone, ask them to kind of, stay out of the room for a little while. Another option is to get them to do it with you, which me and my wife did previously, not during this challenge though, and we couldn't make it like find time to do it together during the challenge. So, but it was nice when we did do it. So I would recommend that if the person you live with is down. So yeah, I think you really need to make time for this, and you kind of have to. I think along with what you were saying, Travis, where you don't want to do that before jumping into a cold bath or shower. So like, you gotta schedule around it. Like, I thought right before bed was pretty good for me. So the overall kind of vibe, or my thoughts on it are, it did kind of feel throughout the day when I was doing it, that like, I don't know, all the people in my head stopped shouting at me for a little bit. You know what I mean? Uh, and like, I was able to just kind of stay calm and focused. I would say it's not a lasting effect, but it did seem to keep me calm. And I, for like an hour, a couple hours afterwards, and kind of throughout the day. Yeah. So that's kind of my final thing. I would say I didn't have any big epiphanies, necessarily, but Tamara is all about self-acceptance and self-actualization and self-love, which sort of leaves you with a warm and fuzzy for after the session, which is nice. It's
Did
good.
you
It's
did you just say tomorrow in a weird way, or is Tamara a meditation thing?
Tomorrow
no,
was her name.
that's her name, Tamara Levitt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, from Daily Calm. But anyway, so so I think that's a good thing for anybody to do. Say like, "May I feel love," or whatever she says for the day. You're like, I deserve. I am good enough. And I was like, I am good enough. So, so I think that's good. That's a good thing for people to
Yeah, well, I
do.
mean, I think there's just power in positive thinking, you
I think,
know?
yeah, and if this is what you got to do to, make that part of your life, I think that's worth doing.
Yeah.
So that's that those are my thoughts.
Yeah, if we're talking about what we did, I tried the different styles of meditation, and I didn't really do. I think the longest I did was like 10 minutes. There was one day where I used like there's an insight timer app or something, and I had that on, and I had like some like light music, and like I was waiting for like the gong to like indicate that my time was up. And the music was louder than the gong, so I ended up like meditating longer than I had intended to, and ended up being late for work. So that was fun. But otherwise, like I just experimented with the different flavors of meditation, and other than like I said, the movement meditation, like the getting into that flow state for me is like the most enjoyable thing here. I didn't really notice any major insights or any real like mental changes. So I don't know. I can't you know, I guess by all means, everybody should try it. And I expect for many people, this is like, really, really needed and really helpful, but it didn't do a lot for me. So I will say I think this is part of why yoga is so like beloved by people is because it kind of ties into that movement meditation where you're like focusing on your breathing and you're moving and you're like kind of in that flow state while also getting kind of a, workout out of the deal. But like one thing that yoga does, that meditation does also, or one thing that I've encountered is the phenomenon where there's like a, focus on your toes and then identify any stress or any tension in those and then just, relax those. Or like the thing where like you use your brain to focus on a part of your body and then tell it to relax, like that weirdly like works. And I'm really
Yeah.
curious as to
Yeah,
what
yeah, it
like
does.
biologically is happening there because that's so bizarre that like you'll just be sitting there and you'll think that you're as comfortable as you can be, and then you'll just like tell yourself to look at your shoulders like, hey, there's tension here, what's going on there? It's just so strange.
Yeah, that's you're absolutely right. That's a real thing.
So that was the most interesting observation that I had over the week. So that's all I got out of this.
I will say I didn't do it every day, which I wish I had. Um, a lot of the time I forgot about it, but
Same.
I did make up for it. I think I did a couple like hour long, just sitting with my eyes closed and try not to think about stuff, you know. But the main thought that I kept trying to push out of my mind was like, man, I wish I was like doing something, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, um, uh, and I kept because I watched a lot of people try to explain like how and why meditation is valuable and how to do it, and it was always, well, not, I shouldn't say always, but it was largely about like you reach like a level of mental calm, you know, that you'll be able to, like, a lot of people were saying you'd be able to recognize other people who meditate every day because they won't be jumping from topic to topic and that sort of thing. There's a running metaphor about like your brain is a monkey, that's like running, like jumping back and forth and throwing stuff around. Um, and I just thought it was all. I mean, so I don't want to be like, because I know meditation is like a core thing for a lot of religious and spiritual people. Um, but I've kind of felt like it's like a placebo kind of thing that like because you do it, it's like, well, I should be more calm. And I mean, but the thing is, placebos work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Right.
I would say like if we are calling it a placebo, it's like it's pure placebo. Like going into it, you know that it's all your mind telling you
Yeah.
these things. So I would say yes, it is a placebo, but in a very blatant way. You
Yeah.
know?
But I almost felt like people were tricking themselves into thinking it was changing them. And that's kind of the vibe I got. I'm a very skeptical person, and I know about meditation. I do have a degree in religion where I studied a lot of people meditating and stuff. But it's kind of I don't know. Nobody really had a solid. I don't know. It didn't seem very scientific to me, and I'm sure it has been some science done. I should have looked that up, but um, I just think it's like something like people can't really explain what the true benefits are. Like when you sit and you think by yourself without like a peer to review what your thoughts are, you come to conclusions by yourself, and you think you're right. I don't know. That's
Well,
I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I think it's a waste of time, and I'm sorry for people that value it highly. And I think if it's good for you, then it's good for you. But I don't see any value in it. Like besides like just like sitting and staring at the wall for a minute would is good, or take a nap.
I mean, I will say I don't have the like studies in front of me, but I do believe that meditation has been studied scientifically and like there
Yeah,
are proven benefits to it. Like there have been clinically studied and proven effects to like, blind studies where the one group did a task and they meditated versus a group that didn't. And they other people reported higher levels of positivity. So like I'm sure that they've done actual studies like with controls and all that sort of things. Like I think the benefits have been proven scientifically, but you can't really account for like the people that just get like they don't consider it meditating, but they get the same effect in other ways.
yeah.
Sort of what we're talking about this movement meditation stuff. Like it's hard to account for that sort of thing. I do believe that there are probably benefits to it. It comes like a kind of a cost benefit equation for me is like you said, like I feel like there are other things that I could be doing rather than spending 20 minutes sitting here doing nothing.
I think
I think when we did our busiest beaver thing, or like when we were getting organized, I think that was for my mind. I think that was just so much more beneficial for just my mental state, was like organizing my life and my that sort of thing. I feel like, but that's so active, and that's not really. I mean, I guess you could probably find a way to make it into meditation, but that being active and taking care of problems seems so much more beneficial to me.
I think people would probably say that that is meditation.
yeah.
It's
That's
like
what I
such a big
mean.
word
Yeah,
that everything is and nothing
Yeah,
is.
that's true.
yeah.
It's a really like loose term, so it can kind of encompass a lot of things. Like, oh yeah, no, that is meditation. That's exactly what it is. So,
But I
I know,
think we have to stick with like the pure meditation is what we're talking about.
but what
Right.
I was gonna say is, yeah, when I was listening to that course, there's definitely a lot of scientific evidence, not just like psychological, where I feel better about me or whatever. There's also like physical things. People who meditate tend to have like lower blood pressure and those sort of things. Of course, that might also be like the type of people that meditate might also be the kind of people that take care of their bodies. So I don't know.
There's probably something to that. Yeah.
But also, what I was gonna say, I also heard about. I don't have any references in front of me or anything, but I heard about the study about boredom and how beneficial it can be, especially to people that have or do creative endeavors. and to like force yourself to be bored as opposed to like seeking entertainment and seeking stimulation can actually be incredibly beneficial if you are a creative person, because it helps put your brain in that state where it's trying to like think of something to do. You think of like kids, you know, like if you give a kid a room full of Nintendos and Legos and everything in the world, they'll end up just making a mess and like jumping on top of it or whatever, you know. But like if you give them a blank room and nothing in there but like a coffee cup, they'll make a game out of it, you know.
Right.
Be mildly
You if you clear everything away, you like free up the brain to make like interesting connections between
yeah.
things. So I think there's definitely something there for that also. Like the many people's ideas, like there again though, is you could say like people who like swear by taking a bath and that's where their best ideas come from. Or where you're just sitting in the bath doing nothing. Is that meditation? Or like I think there is definitely something to the idea that like yeah, boredom. I agree on the boredom thing. I don't know that that's necessarily a one-to-one correlation with meditation though.
Well, it is for you guys apparently. I mean, but
I think
yeah.
okay. I like that though. So when I have in the past, I call it meditation, but from everything I was reading about and watching videos about, what I was doing is not meditation. Where I would just like sit and I would have like I'm writing a story, right, or like working on my little book I was writing and that sort of stuff. I would have to like sit and just close my eyes and like sit on a chair or like lay in my bed and just think about what I want to do and just sit and think. Don't like write it down, just think about it. And you could do that for, you know, like an hour or two and just sit with your eyes closed and think about, or like, I remember we talked about deer hunting, I think, in the first half of this. Like, I remember one year I spent the entire time in the stand, you know, we're just sitting in a chair in the woods, basically, with like no simulation except maybe a deer will show up. And I made a super cool Dungeons and Dragons like thing during that, because I was like, I'm gonna have all this time. I'm gonna think of this super cool Dungeons and Dragons encounter, and it worked really well. So like, but I don't know if that's called meditation or just thinking about stuff.
Well, I mean, I would posit that's like the genesis of meditation. You know, sitting and think about stuff. You know,
I think that they're both arriving at the same destination in different ways.
yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
it's like focusing your mind, like working really hard
yeah.
to think about something, as opposed to like clearing your mind and letting stuff enter your mind.
Well, I would say like the verb to meditate doesn't mean like sitting with your legs crossed going it means like sitting and thinking about something. Like you know, I must go meditate on this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So
but the thing is that like so much of meditation is like don't think about anything. Focus on not thinking about things.
I think that
Yeah.
that's like a certain type of meditation. Like the
Yeah.
mindfulness one is you're definitely thinking about stuff. Like you're actively thinking about like what's going on right now. So like there's a I think transcendental meditation, you know, umbrella view, that's kind of what they try to do, like clear the mind of stuff. But I think, you know, different types very much so you're doing focused thinking on stuff. So I don't know.
Like that to me is very valuable. Like focused thinking, but focusing on not thinking, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
All right, let's move into the judging here.
Yeah. Okay. So we
Let's refresh our criteria
I'm
here.
not sure if any of us were trying to win this one. I don't know.
I was trying. I did it.
Maybe Mike was. I feel like Mike is. Me and Travis just didn't like it.
You're
Well,
like,
it's important to note
you guys
that
are
like,
just like, I'm like, yeah, this is great. You guys are like, it's dumb. This is dumb.
well, it's important to note that like we gave it a shot, and like we're not gonna like, you know, I think it's important on this podcast that we don't just like pretend that things are more valuable to us than they are, right? We should
Yeah.
have integrity when something just like this didn't do it for me. Give it a
Yeah.
shot if you want to, but this, you know,
That's what
don't
all
know.
the people are asking for. That's why they keep coming
Yeah.
back. Yeah. Okay. So the things on our rubric were meditation, immersion, which is pretty a loose term. Sustainability, like, is this are you going to continue to this? How are you going to continue to do this? Any if the best epiphany or any good epiphany, and then we left it open for wild cards if one of us has a ringer that they want to bring to the party. So,
All right, sustainability. I'm going to continue doing like other things that are sort of meditative, but I'm not going to continue doing dedicated like meditation. I'm not going to sit on the floor and, you know, listen to a guided meditation or whatever. I'm going to continue working out and fishing and woodworking and stuff like that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
I give me a 0 for that.
well, I mean, I don't. I was just gonna make like an argument that actually counts because like when I was drumming, I think that's when I was doing the most. Like my mind was focused on the now, and I was able to clear. And I'm not gonna stop drumming ever. You know, I'm gonna do that forever until I have horrible arthritis and can't move my wrists anymore. But
You're going to tap a
then you
beat
do it
on
with
your
your head.
casket.
Yeah.
yeah, do it with my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I if we're talking about sustainability, I'm gonna do that forever. So, but I don't know. That's not. It's not a actionable. That's just a passive thing that I'm gonna be doing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna continue doing it. I've been kind of doing it. One of the things said earlier is, you got to make time for this kind of stuff. Like, I kind of want to continue doing yoga, but it's hard to find time to do that and meditate and, all the other things that we want to continue doing. But I think I'm going to make time for this when I can, like the actual like guided meditations, because I see a benefit in it, so I want to continue doing it.
And maybe it is best that, like it's medicine and that you should meditate when you're feeling stressed, or like
Yeah,
maybe it's not to do every day, but like when you're feeling overwhelmed, that's when you should meditate.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first thing I said was when I get home from work and I just take 10 minutes and just close my eyes and sit down. That's pretty nice.
yeah,
Like, and I feel like mentally that's a really healthy thing to do because a lot of the time I'll get home and I'll like put a pot on the stove and boil it. I'll start like a YouTube video and then I'll like start doing all these different things all at once, and I don't have any break at all. It's just like I immediately get home from stop and go traffic and then I start doing a bunch of stuff. But like just stopping for like 10 minutes and just like sitting,
yeah,
that was pretty nice to do.
yeah.
So that's something I probably will try to do, honestly.
So the way I want to go with sustainability is maybe Travis a 1, Dan a 2, and me a 3. Do you
Yep,
guys
I
disagree?
agree.
No, that sounds good.
Okay. Immersion. I mean, I listened to a whole thing about it, but I didn't do it in these last 2 weeks. But I did do it just about every day. So
Yeah, I think you took this one because I didn't do it every day, and I watched a fair amount of YouTube videos, but that's about as far as I went, I guess. I could have immersed myself a lot more.
Yeah, I definitely missed some days. And I mean, I like listen to meditation stuff on Spotify and like hear the different types, hear the benefits and stuff like that. But I, other than sampling the few different types and like just using the insight timer, like I didn't fully immerse myself or like, yeah, I think Mike is in the lead on this one for sure.
I think it's me 1, Travis 2, Mike 3 on that one.
Yeah, I'd agree.
number 1 epiphany. I mean, did anybody really have one, or like a enlightenment, transcendence?
Besides my cynical viewpoint on meditation getting stronger.
I mean, that is something. It's a form of enlightenment.
Just become a more cynical person.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's beneficial. I don't think learned anything earth-shattering.
We all get 3s.
We did it. We all
I would
did
say
it.
like I had kind of a weird like the visualization thing where it's I forget how the wording was exactly, but it's something like think about something or like find a way to or imagine yourself being happy at the end of the day and think about how you got to that end or whatever. Something about like trying to make yourself happy today or something to that effect. And like in the moment I like struggled to think about like what would like bring me like an unusual amount of joy or like take me over the top. And I was like, oh, it's weird that I can't think of something that would make me really, really happy outside of my regular, happiness level. So that wasn't really an insight. That was more like a prompt that I was unable to comply with. That made me think about like, oh, I guess I should, stress out less at work or something. I don't know.
All right. I'm willing to give Travis a 3 on this one and me and Dan a 2. How's that sound?
I was just thinking that. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's fair.
Do you guys have any ringers, any wild cards you want to bring to the table?
Drumming is the purest form of meditation.
Except for playing guitar, which is a little better.
I think what you said about I don't have a wild card, but I'm just agreeing with what you said, Dan, about the like music being genuinely like I would even say that listening to music can be meditative.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're like just sitting there like enjoying it, like really like enjoying a song like in the groove or whatever, like that can be its own thing too.
I think of like people that like do dance and stuff like that and just feel the rhythm, become one with the music. It's all the same thing, I think, or anything.
Anything that can put you in that flow state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't have any wild cards.
I don't either, really. We all get 3s. Good job, everyone.
Yeah. Yay.
All right. I think I can do the math already.
Yeah.
Yay!
You did it, Mike.
I did it. I did it.
Hooray.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, guys. This, it means a lot to me. It's been some
I think
time.
let's each take a minute here and meditate on how happy we are for Mike.
Closing thoughts. What do you guys got?
I feel like
pretty much the long and
made my
short of it.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we've said enough.
Said it to death. Meditation is good if you enjoy meditation.
That's not a. All right. Yeah, that's good. Good job. Good job, guys.
Now presenting the Introspective Detective, Mike Collins.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Yeah, I think, if, try it. And it might be for you. And I think that there's real value to be had for anybody, And if you just get really bored, then maybe try playing the drums.
You did great. Next time on Perpetual Incompetence. Calvin's a jerk and we all know it. Anyways.
True. Does he listen to this?
Yeah, he does.
Now he knows. You knew that already.
Yeah, he did. I yelled at him, I think.